All right, Shalom. Giving all praise and glory and honors unto Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Crocodiles, the blindness of the apostles, the elders of the great millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. There's another edition of GMS News and Prophecy. And I have an article here from Express. And it says, France in flames, masked May Day protesters smash up Paris streets in anti-Macron violence. All right, so we have more riots, protests in the streets going on around the world, and these protests or riots or uproars or street marches, these things are a sign of the times of the end of the rulership of the so-called white man, whose people are known as the Edomites or Esau in the Bible. Okay, these people have been ruling the world for hundreds of years, since the last Renaissance, and it's brought nothing but wickedness. This kingdom has brought nothing but wickedness. So now you have now that you have these different so-called white governments, these Edomite governments in place here in these last days, the people that are under them, even their own people, are coming against them. Okay, and these are the things that the Lord said was going to happen in the last days. Matter of fact, I'll just pull out a few precepts. All right, let's go to the Apocrypha. Let's go to 2nd Ezra. Let's go to the 9th chapter. 2nd Ezra 9 says this. It says, he answered me then and said, this is 2nd Ezra 9:1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. So you have to do a diligent search in measuring out the times that we're living in. And when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before. And so there are signs to let us know what's going on and what age of the world we're in. It says, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. And we're seeing the signs. We're seeing the Israelites wake up for being African Americans and Puerto Ricans and Caribbean islanders and Hispanics and, being from whatever country they're scattered, whether it's India, Africa, whatever continent, Australia, Europe, Asia. We're seeing our people wake up all around the world. Okay, praising in the name of Yahweh and the Son Yahweh Shai. Okay, it says, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, where there shall be seen earthquakes, and there's been, I did a video, 85,000 earthquakes in Antarctica hit last week. Okay, that's been recorded since 2020, over 2 years. Down there in the South Pole, there's been 85,000 recorded earthquakes. Why? Okay, plus the other ones that are being reported where people are dying and getting trapped and killed. Okay, it says in uproars of the people. These are these protests. Okay, these are these protests. All right. These are the things that is being spoken about in scriptures, and we're seeing them play out in reality. Okay. Let me go back. Let's go to verse 4. It says, then shalt thou well understand, not just understand, but understand well, that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. So these are prophecies. This is why we're seeing France protests, China, Hong Kong protests, Occupy Wall Street, the Arab Spring, protests in Sri Lanka and Belarus, protests, the Charlottesville protest massacre. We're seeing all these things around the world, the George Floyd protests. We're seeing these things happen around the world for different reasons. Why? Because it's prophecy. It says, for like as all that is made in the world had the beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. So the end is manifested. It says, even so, the times also of the highest have plain beginnings and wonder and powerful works and endings and effects and signs. And we're seeing the effects and signs of the end of this world based off of the rulership of the wicked, which are the Edomites. Okay? And everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith in the Son, Yahushua, whereby ye have believed, shall be preserved from the said perils, the destruction, the famine, all those things people, the elect, are going to be preserved from, while other people out in the world are going to fall victim to them. It says, it shall see my salvation in my land and within my borders. So the elect of the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans scattered around the world, all right, all the Israelite foreigners scattered around the world are going to see the salvation of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. It says, for I have sanctified them for me from the beginning. Okay? So these things that are happening around the world, man, with these protests, this is a sign that we're about to be saved, really. It says France, that's back in the article, France in flames, masked May Day protesters smash up Paris streets in anti-Macron violence. France erupted in flames today after balaclava-clad protesters took to the streets to mark May Day and vent their outrage at Emmanuel Macron's re-election ahead of the legislative elections in June. And this could be they could be agent provocateurs. That's not a tactic that Esau doesn't deploy into the streets, especially when everybody's wearing masks and things like that. But nevertheless, these people are exciting things up against the government. Okay? And this is from Monday. It says, France burst into chaos today as more than 250 anti-Macron rallies erupted across the country. That's a lot of rallies, 250. Thousands of people joined the annual May Day protest, which quickly descended into chaos in Paris. Around 5,000 police officers were deployed in the capital city alone to control the violent protests, which left shops ransacked and streets ablaze. And these things are only the beginning of sorrows, man. Okay, it's a sign that this place this world is done, and we need a new world to come, which is the world of the Hebrew Israelites. All right, not Esau's new world. Okay, but there will be an NWO. It's going to be an IWO, Israelite World Order. Okay. It says the march on Sunday comes just a week after Emmanuel Macron was re-elected as French president when he saw off his far-right challenger Marine Le Pen. Several of the protesters made explicit demands on President Macron to drop his plan to raise the retirement age. Others demanded social justice and an increase to wages. So this is why they're protesting this guy, because of all the bad legislation that he's done, plus all the lockdowns and things that happened over the last 2 or so years. It's coming down, to a head. Okay, it's coming down, to a thing of the people versus the government. So I'm gonna get into the scripture. We're all familiar with the scripture, but it's manifest. 2 Corinthians 15. 15, for the sword and their destruction draws nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. So that's what we're seeing. We're seeing the people stand up to fight against one another. Okay, people are divided by political affiliations. Hell, sports teams. They're divided by race. Okay, rich, poor. Everything comes into play here. Okay, people are getting fed up. It says, this is the point, verse 16, for there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They should not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So they're not regarding what the government's saying. They want these democratically elected officials out of office. And it's only a matter of time before things erupt to real bloodshed, man. Okay? But that's it on that. I just want to share some light on the article. I hope it's edifying. All praises, all honors going to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua, by Hashem Kakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom.